Hey soldiers, let's talk about the financial app Wealthfront. This thing is full service. I mean, it's the autopilot for your personal investing and savings. Now, I do want to caution you. When we talk about autopilot, you got to remember that autopilot is great when there are clear skies, no turbulence, but when there is a problem or when there is volatility, turbulence, that captain and that co-pilot, they got to get back into the mix and they've got to fly the plane. So while Wealthfront does have two very powerful, these two aspects that we're going to go over in a minute, they are two of the most powerful features I've seen in an app of this nature. So I really want to tell you about them, but I do want to also caution you. Never totally abdicate your financial situation to any app, to any individual. You always have to know what's going on. You are the captain of your personal financial situation. And when turbulence arises, you have to be able to take that yoke, take it out of autopilot, and do what you need to do. All right. But we're going to get into Wealthfront. Guys, it's got some cons to it. Okay, just like everything, but it's got a lot of pros. We are not sponsored by Wealthfront. We're not sponsored by anybody, okay? So this is an honest review. Just want to let you know that. All right, go ahead and hit like. Help me with the algorithm. If at the end of this you don't like what I've had to say, then just hit like again and unlike it, okay? Simple. But go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe. I need you to enlist and become a soldier of finance. Let me know you did so in the comments and I will salute you. All right, Wealthfront. What is it? Well, it is when I say full service, man, they cover a lot of bases here. Some you may not need. This is like when you buy that brand new car full of options and you don't use half of them. This is Wealthfront, man. It's got a lot. So I have made copious notes because this thing is so chock full of stuff. I don't want to miss a beat. So it's an automated investing tool that bases recommendations on your unique characteristics as an investor. And that is so powerful because you know how you might go into a bookstore and you'll see Money Magazine, the 12 stocks that everyone should pay attention to in 2023. How do they know you should pay attention to that stock, right? So that's written from the standpoint of just putting some content out there. And most of the time, this stuff is not going to apply to half the population. Wealthfront, though, it has a risk assessment tool that allows you to develop what they call a risk score. So you put in some information like your age, other risk tolerance factors, investment objectives, and it will come back with a score. Now, that score will determine whether or not it will recommend to you to be more conservative in your approach, more assertive in your approach, or middle of the road. Now, when we're talking about assertiveness in investing and being an aggressive investor, typically younger people just starting out in life are going to be the ones that, will observe that. Older people nearing retirement are going to look at investing more, safely, less exciting, less sexy, bonds, dividend-paying stocks, things like that. So when Wealthfront, when Wealthfront develops that score, they'll be able to tell you, what they believe based on the information you input should be your investment direction. Now, what they spit out is a recommendation. You still are allowed to tweak it. And if you're going to use the service and you're not actively involved in investing, then I would say don't do too much tweaking simply because, or I wouldn't do too much tweaking. It's kind of defeating the purpose of the application, right? All right. So once it gives you that readout, you'll know more in terms of what your risk tolerances are. Okay, we're going to get to those two amazing features that this thing has on it in just a moment. I want to talk about some of the other features that it gives you before that. Now, it'll spit out some funds you may want to look at, different stocks you may want to look at. It does have the ability to put you in some of the ESG or socially conscious funds that are out there. We've done a lot of videos on the fact, and we've laid the facts out that those things really, they underperform. Okay, and our objective here is to make money, guys. Okay, if you want to save the planet, plant a tree. All right, but if you want to make money, ESG is typically not the way to go these days, especially when you account for the fact that not only do they underperform, but when it comes to actually making a difference socially, these particular ESG stocks, it's been proven by Harvard. We did the whole report on it. It's been proven they don't even measure up there. Okay, so you're not meeting your objectives in terms of investments, and you're not meeting your objectives in terms of saving the whales, okay? So, or the environment, or what have you. So just be careful where ESG is concerned, but they do offer that, all right? There are many people who, may subordinate their wealth to the health of the planet. And if that's your bag, then Wealthfront's got you covered. All right, so the other thing about this application is it does allow you to open up a Roth IRA. A traditional IRA allows you to roll over 401k funds into those vehicles. Also has a 529 savings plan. Does not have a health savings account as of yet, but they're making moves, and I would imagine that at some point they will get there. Now, how much does all this cost? Well, Wealthfront charges 0.25%. That's pretty good, because you want as much as your money as possible to go in the direction of working for you, okay? As opposed to, being sucked up in taxation and fees. Speaking of taxes, one of the other benefits to this application is that it will employ a tactic called tax harvesting, and it'll do it automatically. Okay, it's got some other automatic features in it as well, like rebalancing the portfolio. I'll get to tax harvesting in a minute, but in terms of rebalancing the portfolio, what that means is it's never going to allow you to get overweight in any one stock or sector. It's going to automatically rebalance in such a way that is consistent with your age, investment direction, and objectives, things of that nature. So it's got that as an automatic feature. Another automatic feature it has is the tax harvesting. Now, I'm not going to go deep into tax harvesting. That's a video in of itself. However, I do want you to know that when it comes to tax harvesting, that is a mechanism by which you can actually save on taxes by taking advantage of losses that occur in your portfolio. So if, for example, you have a loss on a stock, then okay, cool. Well, not cool, but it's not a total loss, because Wealthfront will automatically configure the sale of those stocks that are not performing in such a way as to give you a tax advantage. All right. So this thing is firing on all cylinders. A lot of people say, oh, well, that's great. I don't have a lot of money to invest. Well, Wealthfront has taken away that excuse as well. In fact, a lot of companies have, because there is fractional investing offered with Wealthfront. You can have as little as $1. Let me caution you with regard to fractional investing. The objective is not to consistently invest the minimum. The objective is to get into the game after you've done your due diligence, and then start to invest more over time, buying more assets over time. So I caution people, don't get comfortable with the minimum. Oh, I can invest $5 and buy some time. No, try your best to invest, because this is money, you're paying yourself. All right, now when you go out and you get your paycheck, you usually pay your bills, okay? Got to keep the lights on, got to keep the mortgage and car in the driveway, right? And that's fine, but pay yourself first. And one of the ways you can pay yourself first, because they do have a direct deposit option. The direct deposit option, and no, this is not the two features I'm speaking of that are going to blow this thing into the stratosphere. But the direct deposit option allows you to direct your money. You can do half of your check or a percentage of your check. You don't have to do the whole thing. Direct your savings into the Wealth Nation account, and in so doing, invest in whatever you have directed it within Wealthfront. If I say Wealth Nation, again, I mean Wealthfront. I don't know why I'm having this Freudian thing going on with Wealth Nation. Anyway, direct deposit is an option. And that actually, I like that because it automates things. You're not tempted to spend money you don't have. I, for one, like looking at my portfolio much more than I like looking at a new car, okay? It'll be a while before I buy a new car, if I can help it, because that's a liability by and large. But if you can direct money, if you want to direct money toward your savings, Wealth Nation does allow you to do just that, okay? And it has the fractional investing. Now, let's get over to the two features that I've not seen anywhere else that are going to really, make this thing shine more so than it already has. Again, it is an autopilot for money. Now, right now, Wealth Nation, and right now is, April 30th of 2023. So if you're watching this video at some other point, you're going to have to check wealthfront.com and see what they're offering at that point. But right now, Wealthfront is offering a 4.3 APR on savings. That's the highest I've seen, okay, so far with the online savings accounts. That's pretty good. And they go a step further, and they are offering $3 million of FDIC protection. And you might wonder, how are they able to do that when the FDIC only offers $250,000 worth of insurance for your deposits? Well, here's how they do it. They're taking numerous banks, and then they are putting your money in these banks. Okay, so let's say you deposit, let's make it easy, $1,200. So they're taking $100 and putting it into 12 different banks. In that way, each deposit for each institution per depositor has up to $250,000 worth of insurance. So says the FDIC. So naturally, if you've got $250 over here in ABC Bank, and then you've got $250 over here in 123 National, then you have a combined $500,000 worth of FDIC protection. So that is how they're doing that, okay? Now, a couple of things. We've talked many times about not having a lot of money in a savings account because you're not able to really have it working as hard for you as you may otherwise if it were in some other vehicle. Now, at 4.3%, you're getting close, okay? So that makes an excellent emergency account. But here's my caution. Who are these 12 banks? Because of late, we've seen a lot of turmoil and volatility and outright closures of some banks. And these are the smaller regional banks. There aren't enough of the big national banks to employ this FDIC diversification strategy, okay? So let's take Signature Bank. We got SVB. They've gone defunct. And now First Republic is teetering. So it's very important to know who these banks are that Wealthfront is employing this strategy with, okay? But all in all, I think it's a pretty good service if you just do those two things. Keep an eye on which banks are actually the ones that they're doing business with at Wealthfront, and then also never take your eye off of the ball. Yes, it's on autopilot, but you got to take off and land, and the pilot does that. You are the pilot of your financial situation. You are the captain of that situation ultimately, okay? You might bring in a co-pilot who's an advisor, but at the end of the day, no one is going to look after that like you will. So that's why we have this channel, so you can ask the right questions, so you can start to think about different strategies and ways to grow your money. And so you can just, we want you to maintain your journey. And it is a journey. It's not a destination. Financial independence is a journey. There are ups and downs in the journey, okay? Nothing is going to be just roses all the time. Now, I want you to watch this video. Warren Buffett, he stopped buying stocks. Yes, that's not clickbait. Watch the video to learn why he believes, for now at least, Berkshire Hathaway, his company, is out of options. There are some nuggets in there for you, because we can't look at every single thing Buffett does and follow him step by step, because he has a different situation. So there's some nuggets in there that are going to help you when you look at this situation as to why Warren Buffett is not buying stocks. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.